Declare a quorum. I'm going to call the meeting of the City of Groton Mayor and Council meeting for Monday, December 2nd, 2019. Clerk Patrick, please call the roll.
Present are Mayor Keith Hedrick, Deputy Mayor Jamal Beckford, Councilors Lisa McCabe, Reginald Stanford, Guinevere Depot, Rashad Carter. Clerk Deborah Patrick, excused are Councilor Minerva Ortiz and Finance Director Ron Uhas.
Okay, please stand to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recognition, awards, and memorials. Council. Okay. Receipt of citizens' petitions / comments. Receipt of citizens' petitions is the portion of the council meeting where the council welcomes comments from citizens. To address the council, please sign the sheet on the table at the front of the meeting room. When you are recognized, please approach the podium, clearly state your name and address, and speak into the microphone. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit emailed or written statement comments. Presentations should be related to matters pertinent to the City of Groton. City councilors will only ask questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation and can respond during the responses to citizens' petitions portion of the meeting. Okay, do we have anyone signed up?
Yes, we have 4 individuals. Mike Meyer is the first. If you go to the podium, please, and there's a little button on the top of the microphone. When the red light comes on, it will be, and you may want to lift that up as well.
Technology challenged. I see no button.
There's a button right above where the white sticker is.
Rashad, can you give it?
And make sure you
There we go.
point it at your mouth.
Okay, it is a directional mic, so it'll need to be fairly close.
All right, how's that?
That's good. I'm getting your.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's very nice meeting you. As you know, I'm a newcomer to Groton. We've been here since August. My wife will arrive full-time in 2 weeks.
Name and address.
My name is Michael Meyer, 164 Shore Avenue, down near Eastern Point. Not too far from these folks. I bring this up about being a newcomer because we fell in love with 2 things: the neighborhood, the community, and of course this big old house. And we bought this big old house in full knowledge that it's probably a money pit. If you've ever seen the Hollywood movie, you know what we're in for. We certainly do. One look, could see new roof, new shingles, foundation work, whole rooms that had not been finished inside the house. People ran out of money. We bought it because we did some kitchen table economics and calculated that if we rent, Airbnb perhaps, but if we rent our house for a month when we're away in the summer, we can make a big dent in the cost of renovating this glorious, beautiful house that will be a credit to the community. It's a beautiful place. It's in the historic district. It's well worth restoring. We could not have afforded to buy this house with plans to restore it without factoring in the Airbnb income. I want to underscore this. You know, this is something that benefits the community. It benefits housing values. It benefits people who like to visit. It's important that people be free and allowed to rent these places. Now, I'm not a rich person. I think this proposal before the council to limit Airbnb rentals, short-term rentals, is outright discriminatory. It favors a very wealthy few against all sorts of folks, middle class, lower income, who need some money. Middle class people like me need the money to keep their houses in great order. You know, to do the things they need to do to keep a grand old house, instead of rotting away as it was doing. Lower income people often, this is a matter of economic survival sometimes. You retire, you go old, you've got a big house. Why give it up? You've lived there all your life. Your kids love it. You need a little money to make ends meet, to make renovations, to pay the fuel bills, to maybe send your kid to college. Everybody in this room is in one of those categories. Everybody who's going to speak tonight, I know. This is really important from a personal, human perspective. I think it's also very important for Groton. Groton doesn't have the reputation of a Mystic or a Stonington or even a New London. Yet you drive around Monument Hill up there by the library, those are beautiful houses. Where I have my house, the historic district, a beautiful place. Groton should be famous as it once was when they built that Griswold Hotel. We need more people coming in. Paul's Restaurant is mobbed. There could be another couple of restaurants on Thames Street. Thames Street. Sorry, to New York. But it's important. I feel, and I know not everybody agrees, that the more people who come to this beautiful community, which we plan to live here for the rest of our lives, is all to the good. Not just for me, or maybe these folks, but for everybody.
You have 1 minute.
Okay, last point I would make. Sometimes people complain. I've been in Airbnbs. I've done Airbnbs. I know sometimes there are parties. I know sometimes there are parking issues, all the stuff that goes along with Airbnb. For most often, for neighbors in the community, these are mere inconveniences, vastly offset by the benefits. Again, I return to the point, though, that you can't say these people oppose, these people favor restricting short-term rentals. Maybe these people who oppose do so because it's an inconvenience. Maybe they had noise sometime. Maybe they had trouble parking their car. The folks over here, this can be a matter of financial survival. There's no equivalence here. Because one person says, oh, we must restrict, another person says, oh, we must have Airbnbs. There might be a serious financial reason for favoring Airbnbs. And with that, I close. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Paul Billing?
My name is Paul Billing. I live at 8 Riverside Place in Gales Ferry, but own a property at 20 Island Avenue in the city of Groton. And I just prepared just a brief letter in response to last meeting's input from a few of the neighbors in my neighborhood. And I'll just read it. I've got a copy. I could give it for the record once I'm done. It's short and sweet. To the mayor and council. In 2012, my wife Susan and I purchased property in the city of Groton located at 20 Island Avenue, one of only 2 houses on the street and both rental properties. As we understood, our property had been both unoccupied and used as a rental for some years prior to the purchase. Since May of 2016, we've rented the property both long-term and short-term, and to date have no knowledge of any formal substantiated complaints about our tenants or their conduct. As landlords of both long and short-term rentals for well over 20 years, we support and look forward to an open, honest dialogue regarding potential regulation of short-term rentals within the city of Groton. We hope this process will assure that all homeowner issues and concerns, rumors and misconceptions alike can be identified, discussed, addressed in a fair and appropriate manner. We respectfully look forward to providing constructive input from our experiences. Paul and Susan Billing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Neiman?
Brian Neiman, 76 Allen Street. On a different topic, I was present last week when the presentation for the Paquonic Road project public hearing was presented. Found it very helpful and informative. Thinking in advance, I have a few logistical suggestions, just because that's the way my mind works. This is going to be a large, intensive project that's going to have strong impact on Paquonic Road. But nothing like this happens in a vacuum, and there will be both direct and indirect effects on other areas of the city. Main suggestion I would like to put out there is if the city could contact the state DOT, since I believe they would be the ones responsible for adjusting the timing on the lights westbound on Meridian Extension and the top of Rainville Hill at CBS. Because as people become aware of the construction, they're going to seek alternative routes. And I've seen in the past, under other circumstances, where those two areas, you end up with a backlog of traffic. And if the timing could be changed westbound into the city, even by 10 to 15 seconds, it could help alleviate a backlog and a lot of short fuses. Also, on the egress from the city, the light at Benham Road, there is a dedicated left turn lane onto Rainville heading towards CBS. But the light is in sync both north and south. If some kind of adjustment can be made similar to like Five Corners, where it either has a dedicated arrow or offset timing. Otherwise, you're liable to have a backlog of traffic on Benham Road trying to get onto CBS, because it's rather difficult with the amount of traffic, especially once Pfizer is getting out, of cars coming northbound. Also, and I don't know if there's anything that can be done about it, if within increased traffic on Meridian Extension coming into the city, it's already annoying, to say the least, trying to get out of the City Hall parking lot in the driveway onto Meridian. I can anticipate with additional traffic seeking alternative routes, this is only going to become worse. Just a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Andrea,
Begin.
Yes.
My name is Andrea Lanou. I'm a resident of 27 Spicer Avenue. I've been living there with my family of 5, my 3 children, and my husband, 2 dogs, chickens, since 2003. Love Groton City. I plan to live out the rest of my life here. I teach at Connecticut College, tenured faculty from the Midwest. I love it here. My husband and I were biking 2.5 years ago down at Eastern Point. It's a beach where my kids grew up. And rode past a house for sale. You know the story. We made a low bill offer. 2 months later, we own the house. This is a dream of mine, to have a house to live at Eastern Point Beach. I will say honestly that it is a little bit aspirational for us at home, doing what we can to try to stretch into it. I'll also tell you my my positive bias towards Airbnb. I was an early adopter as a guest. I just counted on my phone before I came here tonight. I've stayed at over 33 Airbnbs in 6 different countries. With 3 children, we don't fit in a hotel room anymore. So thanks to Airbnb, we've been able to see a lot of the world, a lot of the East Coast. We're going to Acadia in June and staying at an Airbnb. So I would like to make 3 points about Airbnb that might be counterintuitive. To my mind, these are my arguments of why Airbnb and the share economy in general is a wonderful thing at this point for our town, for people who live here, and for, I would even say, our democracy, to not be overly dramatic. Airbnb is a stabilizing force for neighborhoods, contrary to what you might have thought before. Before we put our house on Airbnb, I looked to see what was happening in the region. I saw that Stonington, there was a big battle Lots of folks. There's a lot of density of Airbnb in downtown Stonington, and the council voted to allow it as a practice because so many people who Airbnb their homes, no one would do it who doesn't have to do it in order to keep and maintain their home. That it allows middle-class people to use their asset, to keep their asset, to keep it up, to keep it in good shape, and as Michael said, to keep your home as beautiful as it should be, which is a good for everyone in the neighborhood. I would also say Airbnb is good for the local economy. I know the folks who come to my house, they're on vacation, they go out to eat, they go all the way up and down the coast and visit our wonderful businesses. I have someone staying there tonight, Jeffrey, actually Godfrey from Waterford, who's cooking with 3 buddies. They're cooking in my kitchen. And finally, and this is what's most important to me, Airbnb mixes people up. I think people tend to bunch up in where they live. Folks live close to people who make them feel safe and who are like them. And I've just loved, working at Connecticut College for the past 21 years. I've been mostly in contact with college people. And on Airbnb, I'm able to meet folks from all over the world without leaving my home. And I just love that. It really enriches my life and their lives. If we were to adopt something like the Hartford Ordinance, and I did read the Hartford Ordinance because I know that's a model that you're looking at, I would immediately either go bankrupt or have to sell my home, probably as a fire sale. And I'll mention something that Michael said. These homes are just crazy. I had no idea what it takes to keep up a Victorian home. My home was built in 1965. I'm sorry, pardon me, 1865. Last night, in fact, about 24 hours ago, we had a leak coming from the ceiling, nightmare, hundreds of dollars. Went out to our plumber last night. 3 months after we bought the house, pipe burst, $20,000. So without Airbnb, I would just not be able to stay in the house. My intention is to move there as soon as we are able, possibly as soon as this August. The ages of my children are 18, 14, and 11, which may mean to you 10 years of college ahead for us.
You have 1 minute.
Thank you so much. And I would also say, I didn't mention what I do for a living. I study Russia. I'm a scholar of studying that country for the past 25 years. I'm all about open process, about democracy, about rules, and about following our procedures. I'm not against regulation. But when I look at the Hartford Ordinance, it looks like an ordinance that was designed by people who, 3 weeks, who can, when they're on vacation, they can put their house on Airbnb. This is not the kind of regulation that will help people like the folks you heard from tonight stay in their homes and keep their homes up. As this conversation goes forward, and thank you, I'm grateful for you allowing me to contribute to it. I would like to see us come up with some kind of solution that fits for everyone in the neighborhood, everyone in the city of Groton, that is true to the history of our town, which grew up as actually, at least where we have homes. This was this was a place where people from New York had summer homes. And so I would like to find some rules that are true to our history and that benefit all of our residents. Thank you for hearing from me. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was all of them.
Second?
That's all of the speakers.
Okay, okay, there's no one else in the audience, okay. Where are we? Response to citizen petition.
Well, I have a clarifying
Oh, okay,
question.
question.
If you wouldn't mind giving us your address of the house that you own down Eastern Point?
It's 178 Shore
Thank you.
Avenue.
Any other questions before we get to responses? Okay, now respond to citizens petitions, comments. Councilor McCabe.
First of all, I just wanted to thank you guys for coming out tonight. It was really good to hear from the other's perspective so that we have a full picture of, everybody's thoughts and needs. So that's basically my comment, is I'm really glad that you guys came and shared this with us.
Councilor Depot.
I mean, I'd like to echo that. It's really hard. I think that people think we somehow know what's happening in every corner of Groton, which there's no way unless people come out. So even if people come out with things we disagree with, it's great to hear just what everyone's perspective is. The other thing I would like to say that since this came up, I have been trying to talk to as many people I know that live down there. And I have gotten a lot of feedback from people. There are a few people who live in the neighborhood who have great relationships with owners like yourself who don't live in the house but Airbnb, and that have been able to communicate effectively with the homeowners, and they have absolutely no problem with the Airbnb. So I think it's hard to get everyone's perspective, but I think the more information that we have, the better. And I think the solution may be something of a community solution rather than a regulatory solution to the few people that have an issue with it, which is valid. The issue with parking, I can see as if people are parking in places that aren't parking spots, that is a problem. But then bring it up as that problem. We need to find a solution to the things that are solvable. And I don't know that everything is solvable, but maybe we can try to find a solution to the things that we can. But thank you guys so much for coming out, because, as Councilor McCabe said, we got one opinion last time, so it's nice to have the feedback from everyone else.
Councilor Carter?
I'll just try to be short. Again, I appreciate you guys coming out. I also, I love Airbnb. I'm going to the city this weekend off Airbnb. It wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for Airbnb, So I do appreciate that, and I do know that you guys purchased your house knowing that there's not an ordinance, there's nothing in place, and there's a possibility that they would have not have purchased their house if there was something in place, and just reversing that would be wrong, I do think that what the Councilor Depot said, it may be just a matter of, just everybody just talking to your neighbor and say, hey, listen, we got somebody coming over, Yeah. But I think when we put our hand into your ownership, which is your right? I don't think we should have no part in that. You can do what you want to do with your house. That's my opinion, just as long as it's lawfully, right, lawful. And I think that's something that the Groton City Police can handle as far as noise and park and everything else like that, So, good luck.
Any other councilors?
Yeah,
Mayor.
I echo a lot of the statements that the council has already made, that it's great that you guys came out and talked to us, because it is hard to see what's going on in the city and hard to hear some of the very persuasive arguments that you made today, because like Councilor Carter was saying, I went to Japan this year, stayed in an Airbnb, been all over the place in an Airbnb. I think this is more of, without coming to some sort of conclusion on this, I think we just have to address, maybe some of the concerns. Is this just a neighborly conversation that needs to be happening, or do we really need to be involved? And how, I guess I would lean towards less of our intrusion if we didn't have to, because I don't want anybody to have to do a fire sale in their home, or but I think some of we've heard from the other side, and I think we have to hear them out, and maybe come to a conclusion on how they should have solved maybe some of the issues that they've had, if there needs to be something, but I think it should be as light as possible, if at all. So that's all I've got.
Anyone else? You want to? All right. Thank you all for coming out. Thanks for having the courage to come and speak to us today. I remember when you guys first got your house and the challenges that you had with some of the neighbors who were less than neighborly to you guys. And that ended up being brought in front of the council with some actual violations and things like that that we had to be involved in. I don't think we're at that level here, but I do want to go on a record. No decision has been made as to the outcome of this discussion. As a matter of fact, it has been referred to committee, and will it be taken up next Tuesday?
Monday.
Whose committee, is it
Which-
Minerva's? Whose committee is it?
I believe it went to community development. but
And
I'm
that's
not-
Minerva,
but
right?
I'm not really
Councilor
sure
Ortiz?
that that's a
And she's not
community
here.
development issue,
Our committee meetings are on the second Monday.
I know
Well-
that the city planner is not going to be available for that meeting. He told me that last week,
Okay, so we may not do it then.
so it may not be done on the 9th.
Okay,
I mean, the councilors can certainly choose a different night to do it, if they want to do it as a special.
well, the point that I'm trying to get at is that all our meetings are open meetings, meaning they're public meetings. You're invited. I think it would be beneficial for both sides of the arguments to attend the meeting so that the counselors and staff can hear from both sides. We currently do not have an ordinance on short-term rentals. We're not alone in that. The town of Groton is having some challenges as well. They don't have one. So we are working with them, the town and the city, to bring ideas. Staff is bringing ideas to see where we could go. The Hartford model was one model that was provided because, and actually, I'm not sure if Hartford is as much of an ordinance. Well, they do have an ordinance, but they also have some zoning regulations. So, but one of the things that I have cautioned people on is to not swing one way or the other, but to try to find a balance and see if we can get to yes, whatever that means. Sometimes that's more difficult than others, but I think there is a way where we as people can coexist on this topic. That's my opinion. I'm not, like I said, I'm not driving it. There's no decision has been predetermined. Nobody is driving it one direction or another. And the council it'll go to committee first. Committee will then bring a recommendation to the committee of the whole. It'll be discussed at a committee of the whole meeting. And then it'll come to the council for another council meeting similar to this, where citizens petitions are allowed. So that's where we are.
Mayor, I do have one question. Councilor Ortiz is not here, and I understand it's her committee that will formulate the initial recommendations. Have our words been lost?
No.
Nope, she will, first of all, we are live right now, and we are taped. And she can review the notes, she can review the tape. She was also a recipient of your email. And if there's any additional information that you guys want to provide, please send it to the council. But if you're going to send it to the council, send it to all the council, not just one council or another, send it to everyone. And so your words will be heard by her. And then she just happens to be the chair. Something's come up, she couldn't be here tonight for this meeting. But your discussion of this topic is important, and it is documented, and you got to the rest of the council as well. So it's not lost. Anything else on this? Okay, that's all I have. Thank you for coming. Councilor Debo. Nope.
Well, I just wanted to address Brian's comments. I know that Brian's on the road all the time, and he has some very good feedback, so thank you for coming, because again, just like with the Airbnb thing, we can't know what happens on all the streets, so I know that you're out there and know how the lights function and which lights do what, so that's really good feedback, because there's more information is always better.
And I'll talk to
So thank you.
Public Works Director about this. Yeah, thanks. Anything else? Okay, that's it. Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
Okay, continuing on, we'll go to approval of the minutes. Need a motion to approve November 18, 2019 Special Committee of the Whole meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion, changes or deletions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Need a motion for November 18, 2019 Mayor and Council meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any changes, additions, deletions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. And lastly, I need a motion for November 25th, 2019, Committee of the Whole meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, additions, deletions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Communications and reports, Councilor McKay.
No report.
Councilor Stanford.
No report.
Deputy Mayor, oh, sorry. Councilor Depot.
Nothing to report.
Councilor Carter.
Nothing, sir.
Deputy Mayor
Nothing to report.
Kirkpatrick.
Well, I, along with a number of city and Groton Utilities employees, participated in volunteering at the Riverfront Children's Center to put together food baskets for families who need a little help in the holidays.
Awesome.
Yep. Anything else? Okay. All right, a couple of things. On Thanksgiving Day, I got to participate with sub-vets, and in a couple hours, we put together over 800 meals for distribution to local first responders, military commands, and retired veterans who either were in need or can't spend time with their family on Thanksgiving. So that was a lot of fun, and it's a great thing that sub-vets does. I want to congratulate Mayor Mike Passero and his council tonight. They're being sworn in. And then tomorrow, the town council of Town of Groton is being sworn in, and then they will select a mayor from that. So my congratulations goes to them now, and then I'm gonna attempt to be there for their swearing in. And then Friday, this coming Friday, the mayor of Kingston, Jamaica, and the town clerk, no, it's not true, town manager and the council is coming to meet with Mayor Passero, John Burt, and I to, one of the things we're looking to do is the sister cities. Remember we talked about the sister cities? So they're coming, they're gonna tour the area, they're gonna go to the airport, they'll tour Layer Mahan, we'll tour real quick in the city. We're gonna tour the port and the Port Authority, not the Port Authority, but the port and the piers. And then there'll be a thing over, a little get together over at, over New London for them. And it's all about establishing relationships, the initial relationship, and possible future relationships as far as trade and education and technology sharing and those kinds of things. So that's happening on Friday. Also Friday, I'm meeting with Electric Boat to discuss the Thames Street repair and to talk to them about what I would like is talk to them about their portion of that repair. And that's it. Okay, new business. Councilor McCabe.
Resolution R-19-12-157. Therefore, be it resolved, the mayor and council accept and approve a grant award from the United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program in the amount of $3,642.07, and that Mayor Keith Hendrick be authorized to execute said agreement. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Councilor Stanford.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 9-12-158. Therefore, it be resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to retain the lobbying service of Medici LLC, 1 Gold Street, Hartford, Connecticut, for lobbying services pertaining to electric, water, wastewater, and any other utility matters as necessary in the amount not to exceed $108,000 and no cents to be paid from professional services lobbying account in the approved fiscal year 2019-2020 and proposed fiscal year 2020-2021 Utilities Department budgets, and that the Director of Utilities be authorized to execute. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was also discussed at the Committee of the Whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Deputy Mayor Beckman.
Resolution 19-12-159. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to purchase annual maintenance in support of the North Star billing system and add-on modules used for Groton Utilities electric, water, and sewer utility billing and Basra Light and Power Company electric utility billing from Harris Computer Systems Incorporated, 62133 Collection Center Drive, Chicago, Illinois, for an amount not to exceed $67,863.65 to be paid from funds available in the approved fiscal year 2020 customer service budget. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed at the Committee of the Whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Councilor Depot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-19-12-160, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the contract for the period of January 1, 2020, or contract execution, whichever comes later, through December 31st, 2020, with the State of Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, and execute other such documents as may be required for funding under the Clean Vessel Act to operate and maintain one marine sewage disposal facility in the city of Groton, and that Mayor Keith Hedrick be authorized to execute the agreement and the city clerk to affix the city seal thereto. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the Committee of the Whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Councilor Carter.
Sir, R-19-12-161. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize the capital project for installation and replacement of the waste gas burner at the pollution abatement facility for an amount not to exceed $25,687.08, which will include issue a purchase order for parts for Aquifer Water Technologies, N19W23993 Ridgeview Parkway, Suite 200, Waukesha, Wisconsin, for an amount not to exceed $20,687.80, an additional $5,000 and no cents to cover installation costs to be paid from the retained earnings in the approved fiscal year 2020 sewer budget. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the Committee of the Whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Councilor McKee.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-19-12-162, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to provisionally approve change order number 13 from R.H. White Construction Company Incorporated, 41 Central Street, Auburn, Massachusetts, for additional scope to include polychlorinated biphenol,
Yep. Biphenol.
abatement costs associated with subcontractor removal, abatement, remediation, and encapsulation of PVCs as part of the State of Connecticut Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. Project number 2013-0140, pending final approval by the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health, in the amount not to exceed $1,288,090 and no cents. And Mayor Keith Hendrick be authorized to execute the change order number 13 upon final approval by the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the Committee of the Whole. Is there any further discussion?
So, Mayor,
Deputy Mayor.
you had pointed out last time that this number had changed, correct?
Yeah, it was originally 1.3 million. It's down to 1.288, which is technically 1.3. But
Okay.
they did find some savings there. My overall comment was about the spreadsheet that we were given, that the bottom line number had changed a little bit. It was close, but they had this changed, and then there were some additions, and there were some other subtractions. And in my mind, it wasn't clear to the casual observer what was changing. And my direction to Groton Utilities, first as the chair of the Utility Commission, but secondly, here's the mayor, was to make sure that that's clear and clean so that spreadsheet is doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be keeping you informed. It's a working document. It's a working document, but it should be accurate, and it should be relatively easy for the Utility Commission and for council to follow.
Okay. Thank you.
Did that answer your question?
It did.
Okay. So where am I? We're to vote now, right?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Sorry, Counselor Depot.
Oh, we're at
Or
Councilor
sounds-
Stanford.
Where are we?
Stand.
Sorry?
Councilor Stanford.
Okay, I'll take the helm. No.
Okay, you can have it. Counselor
Resolution 19-12-163. Therefore be resolved that the mayor and council accept and approve a contract with Millen and McBroom Incorporated, 99 Realty Drive, Cheshire, Connecticut, for the design and engineering of the reconstruction of the Thames Street retaining wall at Electric Boat at a cost not to exceed $31,000 and no cents to be paid from Town Aid Roads funds, with a request to the town of Groton for subsequent reimbursement. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This is discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Deputy Mayor Becker.
Resolution 19-12-164. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council accept and approve a contract with Malone and McBroom Incorporated, 99 Realty Drive, Cheshire, Connecticut, for the bidding and construction administration and construction inspection services of the reconstruction of the Thames Street retaining wall at Electric Boat at a cost not to exceed $51,000 and no cents, to be paid from Town Aid Road funds, with a request to the town of Groton for subsequent reimbursement. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Carter.
So it's to the request from the town of Groton, but what about the request, are we asking for a request from EB?
Well, yes, but that would, the reason that we have it worded this way is that the town of Groton, according to the special act, the town of Groton is responsible for those funds that are necessary and proper for the repairing and making of roads that are town roads in the city of Groton. So if EB says no, we're not gonna give you anything, then the town is responsible for all of this. So what we're going to do is we're gonna pay for this now because the bills are due.
No, I get
And
that.
then,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna go to EB, and then whatever EB chips in, that difference is where we will go to the town of Groton and get that difference for the remainder of all the funds. 'Cause it'll all be put in together.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah. So EB doesn't have to, they don't have to do, they can just say go.
Hold on, Counselor.
Well, I was just gonna say, the thing is, regardless of what EB says, we have to repair the road. So if we don't approve this to
No.
go, then
I get that.
EB,
I get that.
EB is not,
I get that, but this goes along with what I was saying before, and I see what you're saying, but you know, I feel like we probably should approach EB first.
I am,
You know, but that's okay. That's all right.
okay, Counselor Depot.
I would only add from a liability perspective, that waiting to get a response from EB is probably not productive. Or not,
It is-
not
it
the
has
best
been-
move.
Several months. I mean, we're not
Mhm.
procrastinating, we're not delaying. I mean, it took,
Right.
it took a while to get things set up, and then this has gotta be done, and this has gotta be done, and this is where we are. I mean, we are moving this,
No, I know it has to be done, but EB's EB. Like EB's not like, you know, like it has to be done exactly. But it's also a defense. It's a defense plan, so they have to be. They have to do certain things as well. You know what I'm saying? So I see. It's okay. It's
Okay.
good.
is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Counselor Depot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-19-12-165, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council appoint Chase Foster, 72 Baker Avenue, Groton, Connecticut, as an alternate member, Planning and Zoning Commission, term to expire on June 30th, 2022. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. I need a motion carries. I need a motion to suspend the rules to add resolution R-19-12-166 to the agenda.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention. Counselor Carter, do you have this? R-19-12-166? Hopefully that was, okay.
This is what I'm calling.
Second?
Um,
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, sir. R-19-12-166. Therefore, be resolved that the mayor and council amend resolution R-19-11-144 to change the purchase order vendor from Wyndham Corporate Interiors LLC to 08 Providence Road, P.O. Box 600, Brooklyn, Connecticut, to W.B. Mason, 2 Consumer Avenue, Norwich, Connecticut. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Let me clarify where this is. The council has already approved a motion for the renovations that's gonna be done down in the basement in the old credit union. In the process of this, WB Mason bought the vendor that we were working with. So all we're doing is we're changing the name of the vendor from Wyndham Corporate Interiors LLC to WB Mason. Everything else stays the same. So all we're doing is to clear up the paperwork so that it's clear who we're doing business with. That's why we're adding this resolution. Any questions? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. I need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and we are adjourned. Thank you all for coming out.